Hello dear students, how are you all? I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy at your home. Now we will start with chapter number 10, Friction. Now, what is friction? In our last chapter force, we have studied that frictional force is a type of contact force, that is, when two surfaces are in contact with each other, then a force develops between them which is called as frictional force. This force always opposes motion. It tries to stop the motion. So, friction is a force that slows down moving objects or prevents stationary objects from moving. So, dear children, friction always opposes the motion of an object. You might have seen that when you roll the ball over a ground, at a point automatically the ball stops rolling and becomes stationary, that is, its position comes to rest. Why is it so? This is because the surface of the ball and the surface of the ground are in touch with each other when the ball is rolling over the ground. When they are touching each other, both the surfaces of the ball and the ground, a force develops between them which is called as frictional force, and this force will try to oppose the motion of the ball and will try to bring the ball at its rest position. So this frictional force will be always in the opposite direction of motion. So due to this frictional force, the ball comes to rest. See dear children, this is a box and it is kept on a surface, say table. So if this box is moving on the table, so this is the direction of motion of the box, and a frictional force will be generated on this, and this will be in the opposite direction of motion. Okay, see here the direction of motion is this and the direction of frictional force is this. Okay, so when the surface of one body moves over the surface of another body, then a force is generated which opposes the motion of the two bodies, and this force is called as frictional force. Okay, now what is the cause of friction? When one surface moves over another, there are grooves on both the surfaces. These grooves or ridges get caught up with each other and slows down the motion which causes friction. See, these are the two surfaces, the box and the box kept on this table. These two surfaces of the box and our table are in contact with each other. Now the direction of motion is this. Okay, you can see in the picture, and a frictional force will be generated which will be in the opposite direction shown by the red arrow. This frictional force is due to the ridges or grooves of the two surfaces being in contact with each other and rubbed against each other. See, if we zoom it, we can see it. This is the grooves and ridges of the box, and this is green color is the grooves and ridges of the table. So these both are in contact with each other, rubbed against each other, due to which frictional force is generated. Frictional force has three important characteristics. First is, it is effective only when bodies are moving in contact with each other. As it is a contact force, so the two bodies have to be in contact with each other, that is touching each other. Second, friction always opposes the motion of the body and tries to bring it to the rest. So it will always be in the opposite direction of motion and will try to stop a moving body. Third, it causes wear and tear of surfaces of contact of the bodies. As the two surfaces are contact with each other and rubbed against each other, this causes wear and tear. That means this causes damages to both the surfaces of the bodies. Now we will study the types of friction. There are 4 types of friction: static friction, sliding friction, rolling friction and fluid friction. We will study all these 4 types of friction one by one. First, we will study about static friction. Static, as the name suggests, static means stationary, at rest, not moving. So, static friction is a force that keeps an object at rest. It must be overcome to start moving the object. Suppose a book is kept on the table. Now that book is not moving, that book is in the position of rest. The surface of the book and the surface of the table are in contact with each other, due to which a friction is developed between the surface of the book and the surface of the table, and this frictional force will stop the book from moving from the table. Now if you want to move that book from the table, what you have to do is you have to apply a force, a muscular force or some any other kind of force which is greater than this static friction. So you have to overcome this static friction to make that object move. Okay, so static friction is a force that keeps an object at rest. See here, dear children, a heavy box is kept on the floor. Now this heavy box is kept on the floor, so the surface of this heavy box and the floor are in contact with each other, due to which a frictional force is developed in it, due to which the box is right now at stationary position. So this is a static friction. Now if a man wants to move this heavy box, what he has to do is he has to apply a force which is greater than this static friction. Next is sliding friction. Sliding friction refers to the resistance created by any two objects when sliding against each other. That means when any two objects are in motion, they are in a state of movement. In that case, the force developed between them is sliding friction. So sliding friction is the amount of force required to retain the state of motion of a moving object at the same speed. For example, when you apply force to an already moving box, in the previous case, we studied that the box was stationary, not moving. Now, if that box is already moving, okay, now when you apply force to that already moving box to keep it moving on the floor with that same speed, then that force will be sliding friction. Okay, so static friction will always be greater than sliding friction, because it is always easier to move an already moving object than a stationary object. See here, this box is sliding over the floor. So this box is in motion with respect to this floor. Okay, so here a sliding friction is created. So sliding friction will be lesser than static friction. The third type of friction is rolling friction. As the name suggests, rolling friction is the force resisting the motion when a body such as a ball, tire or a wheel rolls on the surface. So rolling friction is created when a body rolls on other surface. For example, a ball rolling on the ground, a wheel rolling over the road. Okay, a rolling friction will always be lesser than the sliding friction. Why? Because when we are rolling any object, the area in contact with the floor or the ground will always be lesser than when we slide any object. Okay, for example, if you are having a heavy suitcase and if you are sliding that suitcase, so sliding that suitcase will cause much more effort by you. But the same suitcase, if that suitcase is having wheels on it, then it will be much easier for you to roll over that suitcase. Why? Because when you are sliding the suitcase over the floor, the area of contact of the suitcase and the floor is much more, due to which more friction is generated. But when you are rolling anything over the surface, then the area in contact with the ground is much less, and also the area keeps on changing when you roll anything. When a wheel rolls over the ground, then the while rolling the area is continuously changing, due to which the rolling friction is least. Okay, so rolling friction will have the least magnitude than that of static friction and sliding friction. So the type of friction acting on a particular object can be changed. For example, ball bearings convert sliding friction into rolling friction and are used in machines to ensure smooth motion and prevent the damage. See here, this box now is having a wheel. So when we roll over this box on this floor, then this motion is now a rolling friction. Okay, and if the wheels are removed and if we just slide over this blue box over this floor, then it will be a sliding friction generated. The last is fluid friction. What are fluids? Anything which flows will fall under the category of fluid. So all the gases and liquids are fluid. So friction on moving objects through fluids such as air and water is called fluid friction. So dear children, air and water also causes friction. This frictional force that fluids exert on objects are also called as drag. For example, a boat stops when a boatman stops rowing it in water. Why? This is due to the frictional force exerted by the water on the motion of the boat. Okay. Similarly, when you stop pedaling your bicycle, it slows down after some times and stop moving. Okay. Why? There are two reasons behind it. First is due to the rolling friction, because the wheels of the cycle are rolling over the road, and second is due to the frictional force exerted by the air. Okay, so air and water also exerts frictional force. This is why it is difficult to stir a glass of honey than a glass of water. Why? Because honey, being more thicker, offers greater friction than the water. Now, when a bird flies in the air or a boat rows in a water, what happens is they all overcome friction. They all experience this friction due to air or water. In the bird case, a bird will experience friction due to air, and in a boat case, it will experience friction due to water. In order to keep this boat or a bird moving, they have to apply a force which will be greater than this frictional force. So in order to overcome this fluid friction force, these bird or boat have to apply a greater force, and this causes loss of energy. So to prevent this loss of energy, the bodies of birds, boat, ship, airplanes are designed in such a way so that they experience lesser fluid friction, so there will be a less loss of energy. So this shape of birds and boat is streamlined shape. Streamlined shape is a shape which is broader in the front and narrower at the bottom. So due to this shape they experience less friction. Okay, this is the reason why boat, airplanes, bodies of birds are streamlined, because to overcome this fluid friction, to experience less friction, their body is designed so. Now we will study factors affecting friction. Friction depends on the nature of the surface in contact, that is their shape and their roughness or smoothness. The second thing is weight of the body, that is force that objects are being pressed one against the other. So a more weighted object will be pressed much harder and a lighter weighted object will be pressed little lower. If you roll over a toy car over the floor of your house, you will experience that it will cover a greater distance than you roll over the same toy car on the playground or outside. Why? Because the floors at your home are smooth. So being smooth, they will offer less friction, due to which the toy car will cover a greater distance. But that same toy car, if you roll over on the playground, that is a rough surface will offer much more friction, due to which the toy car will cover a lesser surface. Okay, so rough surfaces increases friction. Why? This is because rough surfaces will be having much more grooves, and due to this much more grooves, the two surface will be entangled with each other much more efficiently, and due to which friction will increase. So rough surface will increase friction and smooth surface will decrease friction. That is why you slip on a smooth surface, but when you walk on a rough surface, that is like sand, you will not slip, because sand is rough but tiles or a smooth surface are much smoother. Next is the weight of the object. So an object weighing much more will increase friction. Why? Because a much heavier object will be impressing much force, will be pressed against the other surface which with much greater force than the lighter object. Okay, that is the reason heavier object will increase friction. Okay, so heavier object will increase friction because a heavier object will be pressed much harder to the other surface, due to which the area of contact will increase, and the two surface will be entangled more tightly with each other, which will increase the friction. So more weighing object, a heavier weighing object will increase the friction. Okay, so two properties increases friction. First is the rough surfaces increase friction, and second is the weight of the object which increases the friction. Different materials have different properties relating to friction, and this is determined by coefficient of friction of the two material. When the coefficient of friction is high, that means the two surfaces will encounter much higher friction. When the coefficient of friction is low, that means they will encounter lesser friction. Now there is an activity given in your book based on factors affecting friction. What you need is a wooden block, nylon wire, table, pulley and weights. What you have to do is you have to attach nylon wire to the wooden block and pass it over the pulley. On the free end attach a weight and see does the block move. Now keep on adding more weights until the block starts to move. The weight on the nylon wire running over the pulley pulls the block horizontally along the track and friction will oppose this movement. The weight is increased until the block just starts to move. Now the movement happens when pull of weight just overcome frictional force. Such a force is called limiting friction. Okay, so this apparatus can be used to test different factors that affect friction. First, what happens when sandpaper is placed under the wooden block, and the second is what happens when a bigger, heavier block is used. So to understand the activity, this is the arrangement that you need to do is on a table you have to keep a wooden block and attach a nylon wire and through a pulley hang it downwards. On the free hand you just keep some weight. Okay, if you keep a little weight you will feel that this block is not moving. Why? Because the block and table are in contact with each other, due to which a static friction is generated, and this static friction is keeping the box at rest. Now when you keep on increasing the weight, a point will come when this box will show a movement due to this weight. Okay, so this movement happens when the pull of the weight just overcomes this frictional force. So when this force just overcomes this static frictional force, this static frictional force need to be overcome in order to move that block. So when this happens, this static friction is overcome by this weight. This force is called as the limiting force. Now if you have to test about the roughness of the object, if you keep the wooden block on the sandpaper, what you will observe that sandpaper is rough in nature, so it will provide more friction and more force have to be applied to move the wooden block. So this proves that rough surfaces increase the friction. Next you have to do is what happens when a bigger or heavier block is used. When a bigger and heavier block is used, then you need to have more weight in order to keep this block moving. So weight also increases friction. Okay. So dear children, I hope I am clear till here. We will study further in our next video. Till then, take care, bye bye and have a nice day.